How do you improve your FICO score? In this video, we're going to talk practical strategies to bump that score. Coming up. Welcome to the channel. This channel is all about personal finance and investing. Now, my name is Raymond Wagonex, Ray Wag. I'm just a retail investor. The only person's money I manage is my own. Now, in this episode, we're talking FICO scores. FICO scores. What is a FICO score anyway, right? Who made up this thing? Why is this controlling our life? A FICO score is simply a 3-digit number between 300 and 850 that's going to run your life. And actually, it's there to provide creditors on the likelihood that you're going to repay a loan that you borrow. So why is your FICO score important? Well, to you and me, it's going to depend on whether we can get credit and what rate we're going to pay if we can even get that credit. So this is going to affect things like your interest rate on credit cards, auto loans, home loans, and other investments where you need to borrow money. So let's take a real life example. Let's say you're going to buy a home. Now let's say that home costs $350,000 and you're going to put 20% down. Now if you have really good credit, at the time of this filming of this video, you can get a 30-year fixed loan for under 3%. That's pretty good. So if you have a $350,000 loan, put 20% down, 3% interest, your payment's going to be about just under $1,200 a month. And over the life of that loan, 30 years, you're going to pay about $145,000 in interest. Now let's take that same home loan with someone that doesn't have good credit, and they have pretty bad credit, if they can even get the loan itself. Now this person, the worst person with the worst credit, taking out a $350,000 loan, same loan, 20% down payment, same down payment, they can pay upwards of another 3% as a penalty just for getting that same loan. So remember I said the person with the really good credit is going to pay about $1,200, let's say, a month for that mortgage. The person with the bad credit, it's going to be pushing $1,700 almost. And whereas that person with the good credit paid just under $145,000 in interest over the life of the loan, the person with the bad credit with the extra 3%, they're going to pay almost $325,000 in interest alone. So it's really important to make sure you have really good credit, especially when you're looking to finance large amounts. Now let's talk about how you can increase your FICO score. First thing you need to know is what actually goes into your FICO score so you can make the adjustments that you need. Now think of your FICO score as a pie made up of 100%, right? The whole pie. Now the biggest part of the FICO score is going to be your payment history. It's going to represent 35% of that pie. That's why you need to pay your bills on time. When I was 18, my very first credit card, I had a store credit card. I didn't really care about paying it on time. I just thought, well, look, if I don't pay it on time, you just get the extra $20. You don't care. You get a little late fee. You don't care at all. Well, they do care, I learned. And now we'll see that it actually affects your FICO score. If you keep having late payments, it's going to decrease your FICO score. So you want to make sure you pay your bills on time. Even if it's just a minimum payment, make sure you get that minimum payment in to build your FICO score. Now the second factor you want to consider is the amount of credit you already have, or your available credit. Now the credit you already have accounts for about 30% of the total pie of your FICO score. So it's a pretty big chunk. Now you not only want to have a lot of, let's say, loans out there or credit cards, which having a lot of credit cards can help your score, but the idea is you need a lot of available credit. So if you have 3 credit cards and you have them maxed out, that's not good for your FICO score. Typically what you really want to shoot for is less than 10% balance on your available credit. Now that's a pretty high goal. So we should at least strive to have less than 30% of the balance on each one of the credit cards. Now this is where you can really work to improve your credit score, and I've got 2 approaches for you. Number 1, logically, pay down your credit cards, right? So one approach is obviously to pay down the amount you have paid, or the balance on your credit cards. But there's also another approach, which is, why don't you try to increase your available credit? Now of course, again, paying down your credit card will increase your available credit, but also increasing your credit line or opening up another account, that can also increase your available credit, right? So if you have, let's just say, a $10,000 limit on your credit card and you have $2,000 balance on it. Now that's a 20%. Not bad, but not great. Now, if you were to open a second card or increase that available credit, or increase that credit line rather, to about $20,000, you're now at that magical 10% number. So that's the one approach that can really be used to just jump that FICO score up. Now, what I think folks should think about doing is requesting increases in your credit lines. You can't get it if you don't ask, right? They frequently don't just give them to you, although early on they might. But when you've had a credit card for a while, they don't just keep increasing your credit line. You gotta ask for it. Click here, ask for more credit. What's it gonna hurt? Now, the third factor is about 15% of your credit score, and that's simply the credit history. Now, this is why you really want to start applying for credit as soon as you can, just so you can at least kind of keep building up that credit. Because as I mentioned, one of the factors is how long have you had that credit? Has it been 1 year? Not as good if you've had it for 5 or 10 years, right? So you really want to work on increasing that credit and also getting it as early as possible. Now, the next factor, number 4, is the mix of credit. Do you have just credit cards? Do you have credit cards and an auto loan? Now, this mix of credit is beneficial for your credit score, and it accounts for about 10%. Now, I'm not suggesting you go buy a car just to increase your credit score, but just consider how many installment loans you have, whether they're whether they're auto loans or school loans or what, compared to your credit cards. Number 5, new accounts. Are you trying to open new accounts? If you're opening a lot of new accounts right away, that could be an indication that you really need some credit and you might be a bigger risk for the companies. Now, whether there's new accounts opening or not, tends to account for about 10% of your credit score, so they say. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that one way to increase your available credit is to request an increase in your credit line. Now, this could result in them running your credit report and checking your FICO score, which could be a hit against your credit, and therefore go on this new account as a penalty. Now, typically, I think increasing your line of credit is more important than worrying about a request on your credit report. Now, that being said, I probably wouldn't want to run my credit more than, let's say, once every 6 months for requesting additional credit. Now, doing this, you should be safely within the realm of what's acceptable for opening new accounts. So there we built the entire FICO pie. But let me ask you this. Do you like ice cream on your pie? A little a la mode? If so, I've got one extra tip for you. Hit the like button. That'll give you an extra 5% on your FICO score. No, seriously, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and here's another video you might want to watch as well. Until next time, peace out.